A federal fund by the United States Department of Agriculture is feeding Kansas youth this summer through summer meal programs. One town in the 4 states is benefiting greatly from it. I'm Bella Line with more on the story.
The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates again, but is it too aggressive? And are they pushing the U.S. toward a recession? I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the numbers coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Joplin police say a man shot yesterday is now in stable condition. The shooting happened around 3:42 p.m. yesterday. Police responded to a call of gunshots on East Hill Street and found 47-year-old Daniel Samuels of Joplin with gunshot injuries. When he was taken to the hospital, he was reported to be in critical condition. No arrests have been made in the case, but police still investigating. A Joplin woman is accused of firing a gun from one car toward a person in another car. Police arrested 20-year-old Cameron McCain at a Joplin home. They say a caller reported that McCain fired a gunshot at her from a car at the intersection of 7th Street and South Wall Avenue in Joplin just before midnight last night. Thankfully, though, no one was hurt. A Joplin woman is sentenced for killing a Joplin couple in a DWI crash. Authorities say in January of last year, Rita Glasgow was intoxicated when she drove a stolen pickup into an SUV. Terry and Rhonda Koppel of Joplin both died from injuries in that crash. Well, now a judge has sentenced Koppel to 23 years in prison for driving while intoxicated. Glasgow is already serving a 7-year prison sentence for other drug crimes. Sentences will run at the same time. Pedestrian is dead after she was struck by a motorcycle near Racine, Missouri. Authorities say a 32-year-old Johanna DeRose of Racine was on foot on Route K yesterday when she was hit by a motorcycle driven by Nicholas Livermore of Racine. DeRose died at the scene. Livermore was in serious condition. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. First look at the forecast. Many areas not only got rain today, but some storms packing a punch, huh?
Yeah, we had some severe thunderstorms, especially in our southern counties late this afternoon into the early evening hours, and we'll take rain anywhere. They were low-grade severe storms, so not a huge issue. But with the clouds and the showers, it kept us below 100 degrees. 97 is still smoking hot, but at least we're heading in the right direction. Most of the scattered thunderstorms have pretty much worked out of here. We still have a couple little showers in our far southern counties, but plenty of rain chances again as we head through the next few days. We're going to see them start to kind of flare up a little bit more once again late tonight into tomorrow morning. I'm going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. An area organization celebrating a birthday today. The Ronald McDonald House in Joplin celebrating its 24th birthday. In the months leading up to the 24th anniversary, the organization launched a 24/7 support campaign. The campaign celebrates and honors the qualities shown by supporters 24/7, 365 days for the past 24 years.
So today we're really honoring our guests who are guests with us here. You know, we have a guest that's going home with her twins. That's always a celebratory note. Yep.
To learn more about the 24-year program, head over to the Ronald McDonald House Facebook page. Summer meal program funded by the United States Department of Agriculture is helping feed Kansas youth this summer. KOAM's Bella Line has these details.
With reduced or free lunches only being available during the school year, the Kansas Food Bank has partnered with Feeding America to deliver free food boxes to 11 sites around Kansas this summer. The Girard Public Library is one site that has been very successful with the program. According to the Kansas Food Bank, so far the site served 1,060 boxes this summer.
So it's all food that a child can get out of the pantry themselves and eat. It's not something that someone has to prepare for them. So, you know, if the kids are home by themselves for the summer or they just want some snacks, it helps with family food budget. It helps feed the kids through the summer, give them a little extra to eat, and then there's families that kind of depend on the food.
The program is federally funded by the USDA but does not require a registration process to be eligible. The only requirement is a waiver that the guardian must bring with them to pick up their boxes each week, and neither the child or guardian are required to live in the town of one of the 11 sites.
I think right now we're all suffering. Gas is extremely high. I drive a 12-passenger van, so it cost me over $120 to fill it up. So all those other expenses. Today I went to buy bleach to clean out our trash cans, and they went from 97 cents to $5.52 for a gallon of bleach. You know, so this is just a great resource that's free for the community, and you can come in and get a box of snacks and food to help your family.
The program has continued to bring in families from all over southeast Kansas to Girard because of the limited site locations. But while parents or guardians grab the children a box, they're able to use the public library's facilities.
having it at the library. My kids are so excited to come in and go to the library and do things there too. So I think it's just drawing people in from the community.
In Girard, Kansas, I'm Bella Line, KOAM News.
Today was the last day that the Girard site is serving boxes for the summer. To learn more, just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Borrowing money, getting even more expensive for car buyers, home buyers, or anyone who carries a credit card balance for that matter. The Federal Reserve hiking interest rates for a fourth time this year, desperately trying to cool the economy. But is it going to trigger a recession? Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with more.
To fight inflation, the Federal Reserve has made the decision to hike interest rates for a second time in a row by 0.75 of a percentage point.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation.
It's the fourth rate increase this year, making it more expensive to get a loan or take out a mortgage.
These rate hikes have been large and they've come quickly, and it's likely that their full effect has not been felt by the economy.
The Fed raises rates in hopes it will cool four-decade-high inflation, but a too aggressive approach could trigger a recession. There is concern if Thursday morning's gross domestic product report shows a second quarter of a shrinking economy. It will, in many economists' minds, mean the U.S. is in recession.
We're not trying to have a recession, and we don't think we have to. We think that there's a path. I do not think the U.S. is currently in a recession.
Republicans aren't buying the downplaying of recession fears by the White House.
We've seen the indicators for months now, families paying more for goods everywhere they go. You can't redefine your way out of a recession. You've got to reverse the failed policies.
Chairman Powell said another large interest rate hike is possible next month. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 and Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero, Harold Brewer. Served in the U.S. Army back in 1952. A native of Nevada, Missouri, Brewer was stationed in Korea. We are proud to thank and salute Corporal Harold Brewer. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Eddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, going to hear from the Joplin Outlaws head coach on the team making the Mink League Championship Series.
Well, of course, another hot one for us today, but we didn't hit 100 degrees. First time in over a week, so hey, we'll definitely take that. And we did get some scattered showers and thunderstorms for some of you across the region. We're still going to have those chances as we go through the next few days. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, I've been showing this just about every day because it's impressive. Look at the stretches of triple-digit heat. And then we can go back to last Sunday. We dropped to 96 on that Monday, and then a stretch all the way until today. 97, still well above average, but at least we didn't hit that triple-digit mark. Scattered thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening hours. These were mainly in our southern counties, but we had numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. These were low grade, but still severe thunderstorm warnings. Right now it's pretty quiet. I do think we'll get a few more thunderstorms popping up later on tonight. You can see this kind of batch down just to the south of Tulsa. And then I think we'll get some more kind of trying to fire up along the state line. And then we'll watch this little batch out across southwestern parts of Nebraska. Good news here is we have chances as we go through the next few days. All right, temperatures. Areas that got rain, you drop back into the 80s, but still our southern counties triple-digit heat. So like in Miami and Neosho, all hitting 100 degrees this afternoon. Most of us now are sitting from upper 70s to lower 80s. We'll drop back lower 70s later on tonight. Looks pretty good right now. 84, northerly winds are light. A little bit of a heat index. It's muggy out there. Our humidity is at 67%. All right, let's go through time. Pretty quiet. Next few hours. After midnight, a few scattered thunderstorms try to pop up again. These are mainly going to be from the southern half of the region, Joplin south, but scattered thunderstorms northeastern Oklahoma. We may get a few into the metro area late tonight, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Here's 5:30 in the morning, scattered thunderstorms to start the day. Again, mainly our southern counties, but as we go through the morning hours, we still get hit and miss storms. Once we get into the afternoon, we're going to watch additional thunderstorms popping up in our northern counties. So we kind of flip it. So scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, late afternoon into the evening hours, and then we'll dry out a little bit tomorrow night. Here's your day planner. 74 to start, 83 by noon, backing to about 91 by 5 p.m. I think our high is going to be about 93. All right, let's go into Friday morning. Additional scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region, which is great to see. We'll most likely see another round as we get into Friday night and Saturday morning. 93 tomorrow, 80, I said 80 for a high, Friday and Saturday. Best chances for thunderstorms really from tonight until Saturday morning. 84 on Sunday, and then the heat comes back early next week, but at least looking better.
Yeah. You know, you and I were talking before tonight's newscast, and that saying you can smell rain.
Yeah.
It was so good to smell rain earlier today.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were ever going to get rain again.
No kidding.
So
I forgot it existed. See a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Though some parts of the 4 states have gotten some of that rain, others still dry. Officials are warning people about the risk of those grass fires as they receive a high volume of calls. KOAM's Segun Bamandelli has more.
As we continue in one of the hottest summers ever recorded, firefighters are warning about the dangers of grass fires.
What I can tell you right now is we're responding to several grass fires a day, and with the conditions that we're experiencing with the drought, we're having to help our neighbors and they're having to help us on almost all of those fires. So it becomes a team approach at this point.
Kit Stammer, the director of Joplin Jasper County Emergency Management, explained why it is a problem.
The problem with grass fires and heat is the heat dries out the grass and it becomes extremely dry to the point that any kind of a spark can ignite it.
Stammer says there are different causes for the blaze.
Many of the sources of ignition for grass fires include cigarettes, perhaps a hot muffler on a vehicle, somebody deciding to burn when it's unbelievably hot outside and the fire gets away from them.
Stammer also says people should pay attention to anything that can ignite the fire around them. In Joplin, Segun Bamandelli, KOAM News.
Officials also say people should avoid burning even when it does cool down or rains because it's going to take some time for things to get good and wet and safe. Coming up, tensions between the U.S. and China.
New reaction from the Pentagon concerning House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's potential visit to Taiwan. I'm Rich Edson in Washington. I'll have the details coming up.
What's that?
Greiner telling a Russian court she was not read her rights when she was detained at a Moscow airport back in February. The WNBA player was in a Moscow court again today during her drug charges trials. Testified she did not intentionally traffic vape cartridges filled with cannabis into Russia and added she did not understand papers she was made to sign upon her detention. Greiner had played for a Russian club during her off seasons ever since 2014. U.S. officials and prominent athletes say Greiner has been wrongfully detained and called for her immediate release. Meanwhile, today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the U.S. has offered a deal to Russia to bring home Greiner and another jailed American, Paul Whelan. No details of the offer, though, have been released to the public. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi still won't say publicly, anyway, whether she's going to be making a trip to the island of Taiwan, but preparations are underway if she does decide to go. Possible trip catching the attention of Chinese leaders who disapprove of her potential trip. China considers Taiwan as part of its own territory, and a visit there could provoke the Communist Party to act aggressively. Fox News senior national correspondent Rich Edson has reaction from Washington.
Tensions are building overseas. Cameras captured Taiwan's military holding its annual naval exercise Tuesday. Authorities there are on high alert due to increasing threats from China and the prospects of a future invasion.
The purpose of the exercise is to show people our strong combat power and our determination to defend the sea and territory.
Complicating the situation, a possible visit to Taiwan by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has yet to confirm whether she's going. Pelosi reportedly invited some of her colleagues to join her. The Pentagon says it is in close contact with the Speaker about her plans.
I think we have to be vigilant, throughout, even as we're operating in that region.
China strongly disapproves of the trip and threatens there will be, quote, firm and resolute measures should she visit. American lawmakers say Pelosi cannot back down now.
Our friends and our allies are watching this real closely because if they see the bad guys able to threaten the United States of America, that means no country is safe from tyranny.
After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, fears of China doing the same to Taiwan have the attention of national security officials and lawmakers, arguing it is time to boost the island's defenses.
Taiwan is really the prize for them. And so that's why the contest over Taiwan is so important. The United States cannot permit them to take that island by force.
This will likely be a key point of discussion for President Biden when he speaks with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Thursday. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Still ahead, historic flooding.
Folks in St. Louis were bracing for the potential of more flash flooding overnight. Thankfully, that rain was not as intense as it was on Tuesday. I'm Robert Ray in St. Louis. I'll have more on this story.
With all the heat this summer, utility bills have been high. Seems the AC needs to catch its breath, at my house anyway. Now the Biden administration launching a new pilot program using solar power to help bring down those utility costs. The new initiatives would allow people in subsidized rental or low-income housing to apply for community solar energy. The program aims to power 5 million homes by the year 2025. Twitter setting the date on a shareholders vote over the $44 billion Elon Musk buyout. Yeah, that's still going on. The company announced the vote to approve the acquisition deal. It's going to be on September 13th. The announcement coming as the legal fight between Twitter and Musk over the deal intensifies even. Musk earlier this month moved to terminate his agreement to buy Twitter. Twitter in turn filed a lawsuit against the billionaire to force the deal. Twitter's board has unanimously recommended that shareholders vote in favor of the deal. More rain could be in the works after the St. Louis area experienced record storms earlier this week. Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray has more from St. Louis.
1 foot of moving water can sweep away a car. So please, turn around, don't drown.
The waters are slowly receding, but folks in St. Louis are not out of the woods yet. The National Weather Service says at least another inch of rain is expected to fall throughout the area, just one day after the city experienced record flooding. The damage was widespread, more than 12 inches falling in just a few hours, prompting dozens of water rescues by firefighters and other first responders, even after evacuation orders had been issued.
In the process of doing some well checks, we came across at least 14 residents that are desiring some assistance evacuating from the residence.
A state of emergency has been declared in St. Louis, and officials and residents are now starting to assess the damage, with water weight creating safety hazards in homes and businesses. Dozens of partial roof collapses have been reported, with more expected in the coming days. Another major issue, folks driving into what they believe are shallow puddles and getting stuck. At least one person was killed when their car was covered in more than 8 feet of water, prompting new warnings from officials here.
Don't drive into standing water. You know, as you drive in, it may look low, but once you get to the center or the bottom of the crest, you're in 5, 6, 7, 8 foot of water.
And the storm system is now slowly moving east across the Mississippi, expected to dump significant amounts of rain in not only Illinois, but Kentucky and West Virginia. Reporting in St. Louis, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Goodness, still hard to believe there. All right, an iconic piece of space exploration memorabilia selling for an out-of-this-world prize. Details next. This stuff we talk about commercials, during commercial breaks. All right, space jacket worn by Buzz Aldrin. That's all I'm going to say. The stuff we talk about during commercial breaks. The space jacket worn by Buzz Aldrin while stepping on the moon has sold for a record-breaking $2.7 million. The auction happened at Sotheby's in New York. The in-flight coverall jacket is made of a fireproof, tightly woven silica fiber called beta cloth, used in the production of Apollo space flight suits. Other items sold include Apollo 11 flight plans, including a complete summary of the mission, which sold for $819,000. That's history, unique history too. You know, cool stuff right there. All right, should we tell them what we were talking about during the commercial break? Yeah. All right, 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. Freeman Health System giving local students a chance to learn through a health academy.
What does a brewery and a gorilla have in common? I'm Jalen Banks with your answer.
The realty company CoStar Group says rent prices are climbing nationwide. It's not as bad here as in some places, but they're still higher than they were a couple of years ago anyway. KOAM's Untitled Chapter spoke with a Joplin woman who who's been struggling herself to find affordable housing.
If you're not taking care of it and it's been empty all this time, but I'm expected to when I move in, like, how is that even fair?
Janae Rowe from Joplin says she's having trouble finding a quality house at a reasonable price. Since 2019, the rent prices in Jasper County have went up 5%. Janae says there needs to be more balance between what you pay for and what you get.
You see all these places that are for rent and you're like, okay, cool, like it's within my budget, like, yeah, and then you go out and look at it and it's like, I don't want to live here. This one place didn't have, paint was chipping, the bathtub had black, like, mold stains, like, all through it. Like, no one's gonna rent a place like that.
Janae has been living with friends while she has been looking for places on Facebook Market for about 4 months now. Becky Wooderman of the Purpose Home Repair in Joplin, an organization that helps Joplin's homeless community, says the issue with the quality of housing can come down to supply and demand, with landlords knowing they have the supply.
They kind of got everybody over a barrel. It's like, well, I know I can rent to the next person, so I don't need to lower my rent here or do something extra for them because they know somebody else is going to be knocking on their door tomorrow wanting to look at the place.
Wooderman says the issue isn't easy to solve. Stricter rules and more city inspections on properties could be a catch-22.
Monthly inspections or quarterly inspections on all these rental properties to see if the landlord's keeping them up. But if they fail one, then they have to condemn the property or evict these people from where they're living because the place is not sanitary or something like that. And then it just increases a more homeless problem.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
According to CoStar Group estimates, since 2019, rent prices have rose less in the Crawford and Newton counties. Well, local high schoolers getting a taste of what it's like to work in healthcare. KOAM's Ember Jenkins says more.
Freeman Hospital in Joplin is hosting a healthcare academy for high schoolers who want to explore different positions in healthcare. Freeman Healthcare Academy lets students job shadow different jobs to have a better understanding of what they want to work towards.
Because doctoring, it is like 12 years of school, and I don't know if that's like necessarily what I want to do. So it's really good to see other options.
The participants enjoyed the hands-on learning activities and toured different hospitals' department.
We got to go see the laboratory, and I thought that was really cool because like it's kind of one of those places where it's like, what goes on behind those doors? Like, what are they doing down there?
Some of the students always thought they belonged in the healthcare field.
Since I was 5, my nana used to work in a hospital. She was only the dietary manager, but I knew I wanted to be in this field.
The academy returned this year after a 2-year hiatus. Parents and students were excited to apply when it returned.
The feedback that we've gotten from the students and the parents are that they are very grateful to have this opportunity.
In Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The academy is going to wrap up on Friday with all the students receiving a certificate for their completion. There's no better way to beat the heat than to create a sweet treat. Local Children's Miracle Network champion Nora created her own blizzard at Dairy Queen to promote the network's upcoming Miracle Treat Day. Dairy Queen is giving people a chance to donate to CMN. And all you have to do is buy a frozen treat from Dairy Queen tomorrow.
It's very exciting to me. I'm very glad to help other kids.
Nora, that's awesome. Hey, and Nora's blizzard was cookie dough, Oreo, caramel, and a little bit of cotton candy. There's also going to be a car show and family fun night at the 32nd Street Dairy Queen tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Nora, you're bold there with that throw-in of cotton candy. I try it, though. I try it. All right, beer and gorillas. Going from cotton candy to this. Beer and gorillas, two things you don't often hear in the same sentence. At least I hope not. KOAM's Joplin Banks shares a story that is going to change all that.
Normally, when you think of gorillas, you do not think of beer, but that will soon change. Pitt State University is partnering with Jolly Fox Brewery for the school's first licensed beer. Pitt State and the Jolly Fox Brewery have been planning on this project for over a year, and they plan on releasing it this fall.
Just to create something unique for Pittsburgh. A lot of businesses work together in Pittsburgh. Creates a great community environment, and it's enjoyable for everyone.
There are over 10 universities across the country with an officially licensed beer, and this beverage is made just for Gorilla Nation. Its name, the Golden Gorilla Ale.
So, when they approached me, they kind of wondered what we should do, and, being, it's crimson and gold, I thought, a golden ale was the most opportune thing to brew. So, and it's just an easy drinking beer that's not bitter, it's not, overly flavorful, it's very balanced.
The university plans to have the ale up and running this fall for sporting events with plans to make it a staple.
We plan on working together with PSU for years to come. It's something that we can do every football season, or if we all think that, hey, let's do it year round, let's do it year round. It's nothing, there's no time constraint on this. It's not a one-time deal. We've established this relationship, so let's keep it going.
In Pittsburgh, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
University plans to sell the beverage at concessions just in time for the football season. And a bit later, look at how technology, robots in particular, are helping surgery patients spend less time in the hospital.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another hot one for us today. Temperatures into the upper 90s for highs, but at least we got some scattered showers and thunderstorms. That is something we desperately need. And rain chances will continue the next few days. Looks okay out there right now. Most of us are dry, but check out this stretch over the past week from last Sunday, that triple-digit heat. In fact, it goes all the way back to the week before. So 25 days this month above average, and we've hit 100 degrees 16 times already this summer. Thunderstorms we had earlier this evening, these are pretty much gone. We've lost the heating of the day, but we do have some weak little upper level waves which are going to rotate through. So these are going to try to flare back up a bit as we get into the overnight hours, mainly after midnight for us tonight. Right now, we look fine. Not too much is going on across the region, but I do think thunderstorms will kind of pick up out across the state line of Kansas and Oklahoma. There's also a cluster up in western parts of Nebraska that we will keep our eyes on. Temperatures for us today, southern counties pushed 100, and we did have some areas that hit triple-digit heat. Northern counties kind of stayed into the 80s throughout the afternoon hours, just due to some more clouds, 80s to near 90. We're sitting upper 70s to lower 80s across the region for us right now. It's muggy, it's humid, currently 84, still feels like 90. Relative humidity at 67, and that dew point's at 72 degrees. Anytime it tops 70 in the summer months, it doesn't feel so nice outside. Through the overnight hours, just after midnight, some scattered thunderstorms again trying to get going. Southern counties, you can see them increasing a bit along the state line of Kansas and Oklahoma late tonight. Here's 5:30 in the morning. So when we start the day, we are going to have some hit and miss storms, mainly our southern counties. But as we get through the day, we'll see more popping up in our northern counties as we get into the afternoon hours. So hit and miss storms tomorrow. Roughly about 40% of us will see rain. Hopefully you are one of those inside that 40%. They're just not going to be widespread. Hit and miss. 87 by noon, high temp right around 93. As we go into tomorrow night, thunderstorms increase again. So scattered thunderstorms into Friday morning, kind of increasing as we go through the morning hours, and then we'll see another round kind of rolling in by the time we get into late Friday night, and even into Saturday morning. So rainfall amounts are hard to pinpoint because these storms are scattered, but I'd say on average, a lot of us pick up maybe a half an inch to an inch over the next few days. 93 tomorrow, 80 on Friday, 80 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. Plenty of chances of rain over the next few days, and then we start to dry back out and the heat really kicks back in the middle of next week.
We need this break, though.
We do. It's been a long stretch.
Quickly, how do you feel about the Chiefs' upcoming season, man?
I don't know. Ask me in a month.
All right.
I know training camp started.
All right. Coming up in sports, Kansas City Chiefs kicking off that training camp over in St. Joe. Plus, Joplin Outlaws preparing for the Mink League Championship Series. Sports director Jacob Letter has that and more next.
The Joplin Outlaws have earned a spot in the Mink League Championship Series. The Outlaws will face the St. Joe Mustangs in a 3-game series to determine this year's league champion. Joplin earned their spot in the championship series by beating Jeff City 4-2 last night, claimed the South Division title. Now, they have the tough task of facing a St. Joe team that's won 7 of the last 12 Mink League titles. Here's head coach Gonzalo Gonzalez on winning a division championship and earning a chance at the league title.
It means a lot, especially for the city of Joplin. The community, the city itself has done a great job of supporting us all year long, no matter if it's midweek games or weekend games. So to be able to do it for the city of Joplin and Mr. Raines, who's a great owner, it means a lot to us. I think we're at the point now where these guys are really doing it for each other. I mean, it means something to them. You know, it may be summer ball, but we've all sacrificed to get to this point. So to see these guys playing together and playing for one another, it truly means a lot.
The Kansas City Royals finish up their 3-game series with the Angels this afternoon. The two teams have split the first 2 games of the series, with each team winning in a shutout. Kansas City aiming for a 4-2 start to the second half of the season. In the 5th, fly ball to right. MJ Melendez crashes hard into the wall. Ball is loose. That's an RBI triple. Take another look. Looks pretty bad, but Melendez would stay in the game for Kansas City. Didn't get much better for the Royals today, though. Next batter, Brandon Marsh, goes the other way for the single to score the runner. At that point, Angels up 2-0. Then in the 7th, Andrew Velasquez back to the pitcher, but Dylan Coleman just airmails it to space. Run scores on that. Royals drop the game and the series to the Angels, 4-0 the final. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they aim to avoid a 3rd straight loss today against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Cards are without both Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, who are unvaccinated and could not make the trip to Canada. That game is over. Cardinals win it 6-1. Albert Pujols, huge night for St. Louis, going 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. The Kansas City Chiefs held their first full team practice today at training camp in St. Joe. Their fans got a first chance to see and hear from some of the team's new players. On the defensive side, safety Justin Reed talked today about coming over from Houston and being part of a Chiefs defense with plenty of new faces.
This is a new look defense, you could say. We have a lot of new faces coming and being and starting, and a lot of guys who are gritty and been hungry for the opportunity to prove their worth and show who they are as players. So we want to be an attitude defense. We want to come out and set the tempo. We want to be physical. We want to be dominant. When it comes down to the end of the game, when we have a lead, we want to be the ones that finish it and not have to rely on the offense to go out and do anything.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
This is your news update. I'm Jordan Abbey. A summer meal program funded by the United States Department of Agriculture is helping feed Kansas youth this summer. KOAM's Bella Line has details.
With reduced or free lunches only being available during the school year, the Kansas Food Bank has partnered with Feeding America to deliver free food boxes to 11 sites around Kansas this summer. The Girard Public Library is one site that has been very successful with the program. According to the Kansas Food Bank, so far the site served 1,060 boxes this summer.
So it's all food that a child can get out of the pantry themselves and eat. It's not something that someone has to prepare for them. So, you know, if the kids are home by themselves for the summer or they just want some snacks, it helps with family food budget. It helps feed the kids through the summer, give them a little extra to eat, and then there's families that kind of depend on the food. The program is federally funded by the USDA but does not require a registration process to be eligible. The only requirement is a waiver that the guardian must bring with them to pick up their boxes each week, and neither the child or guardian are required to live in the town of one of the 11 sites.
I think right now we're all suffering. Gas is extremely high. I drive a 12-passenger van, so it cost me over $120 to fill it up. So all those other expenses. Today I went to buy bleach to clean out our trash cans, and they went from 97 cents to $5.52 for a gallon of bleach. So this is just a great resource that's free for the community, and you can come in and get a box of snacks and food to help your family.
The program has continued to bring in families from all over southeast Kansas to Girard because of the limited site locations. But while parents or guardians grab the children a box, they're able to use the public library's facilities.
Having it at the library, my kids are so excited to come in and go to the library and do things there too. So I think it's just drawing people in from the community.
In Girard, Kansas, I'm Bella Line, KOAM News.
Yesterday was the last day. The Girard site is serving boxes for the summer. To learn more, just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back. If you're getting ready to go under that knife, there might be a chance a robot is going to assist in your operation. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has a look at one of the most advanced surgical robots on the market and how it's improving patients' lives around the world.
Robots and humans are once again joining forces to help change the world. And this time it's taking place inside the operating room at a South African hospital. Where the Da Vinci Xi, one of the world's most advanced surgical robots, is simplifying complex medical procedures.
They magnify the image that you're seeing a lot more than normal laparoscopic stats. You can maneuver with a lot more accuracy and do finer work and get a better result, so you can preserve more organs that way.
A surgeon stationed at the robot's 3D console controls its 4 arms in real time, guiding Da Vinci Xi as it assists surgeons in performing extremely delicate tasks. And because the robot ensures the highest level of accuracy, medical experts say it helps dramatically reduce a patient's hospital stay following their operation.
Patients have done very, very well. They go home much sooner, so our average length of stay is 3 days.
While also decreasing a patient's risk for post-op complications.
They have a lot less nerve damage. You can see that their function is way better. They all tell me they feel as if they haven't had an operation.
Meanwhile, the Da Vinci Xi isn't just helping surgeons in South Africa. According to Intuitive, the tech company behind the device, more than 6,500 Da Vinci systems have so far been installed in more than 6 countries, including here in the U.S. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Coming up, going to catch up with Katie Holmes about her new movie, Alone Together. Leave It to Beaver star Tony Dow has passed away. The actor was 77. His death was originally reported yesterday, as many of us know, after a Facebook statement announcing his passing, but it was deleted soon afterwards. Dow starred as Wally Cleaver, the big brother on the classic sitcom that ran from 1957 to 63. He was just 12 years old when he took on that role. Dow recently announced he had been diagnosed with both prostate and gallbladder cancer. He had reportedly been receiving hospice care this week. Katie Holmes created her latest movie at the beginning of the pandemic in lockdown, and she set the romantic story during that time. It's called Alone Together, and the film is now in select theaters and on demand. We spoke to Holmes and her co-star Jim Sturgis all about it. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
The only thing that matters are essential workers, and I'm not essential.
Katie Holmes writes, directs, and stars in Alone Together, a love story set at the start of the pandemic and written early on, too.
It was pretty soon after lockdown began. It was like a combination of I was watching a lot of movies, but a lot of movies that I had grown up on, so I was revisiting When Harry Met Sally, Manhattan, Annie Hall. I was sort of thinking, how could you make something right now in a confined space? How could you make something sort of inspired by these kinds of movies? And then the pandemic was right there, and it was something that obviously is very universal.
Holmes and Jim Sturgis play strangers double booked at a rental who make a connection in lockdown.
It's a time capsule of this, extraordinary time that we all sort of lived through, but a positive story, a story that had some sort of heart and some hope and a gentle sort of perspective on quite a horrendous time.
Derek Luke, Melissa Leo, Zasha Mamet co-star. Katie says it was inspiring getting back to work with the film and with this group.
A reminder of how much fun it is to tell stories and to create characters. It was so fun to make and also really inspiring, what can we all do next together?
And Jim, what were the perks in having your writer-director also your co-star?
That was one of the greatest things about the whole experience, genuinely. I didn't know how that was going to feel or be, having all those hats in one person. But I loved it. There was just a very streamlined sort of focus between me and Katie.
People are going to judge you no matter what, so you might as well do what you want in life.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave tonight with video of monkeys bathing in a Japanese hot spring, because at least one time in your life you need to see video of monkeys bathing in a Japanese hot spring. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.